It's time to tell you a little bit about your nifty Keynote TI-Nspire. The first thing that I'd like you to know is that you can always go home. This red key up on the top is your home screen, and when you click it, you'll be brought to this screen. If I want to just do a basic calculation, like any other calculator, what I just usually do is hit A. It brings me to what we call the scratch pad. I could do any calculation here that you've always done. Escape takes you out of the scratch pad. There's also, if you go down to B, a graphing scratch pad for quick graphs. So if I wanted to graph 2x plus 3, there it would be. Again, escape out. What I'm more interested right now is having you create a document. So on the home screen, we're going to hit the number 1 for new document. And to make a graph, we are going to add a graph page. Note here that there's a calculator page, so you could do your good old calculations, a graph page to graph any function, a geometry page, which probably would have come in really handy last year because it's dynamic and you can like move vertices and see what happens in triangles and rectangles, etc. A spreadsheet and data and statistics, which if you take statistics you'll use a lot, and a notes page. And data quest is for using like different types of probes. So we're going to go to add a graph, and you can see this entry line on the bottom. I want to do the one we did in class today, or graph that one, so I'm going to go Control Divide for the stacked fraction, and I want to graph x plus 1, and I'm going to tab down to the bottom or arrow down over x. Now I'm going to right arrow over so that the cursor's behind this, and I want to limit the domain. If I hit Control equals, I get this beautiful key, and this right here is the such that. I'm going to hit such that x, and then I'm going to go back Control equals is greater than 0. And there's our function. Now, I'll explain how to grab things later, but for now I'm just going to grab this out of the way. Now that entry line is gone. How to get it back is just to go Control G. Control G is either Control Gone or Control Get. It gets you the entry line or it makes it disappear. Our next function, again, I'm going to do a stacked fraction, was x plus 2, and I'm going to tab over to the bottom, over x plus 1. I'm going to arrow over so that I have my cursor behind this expression, and I'm going to go Control equals for such that, and then I'm going to put x, and again, greater than or equal to, or just in this case greater than 0, and hit enter. Again, I'm just going to drag this out of the way. Now looking at this, you could see clearly in the beginning of the domain that the red function is above the green function, but it gets harder to see out here. One of the things we can do is if we hit menu, we can go to zoom, and I can zoom in. I bring my cursor right to the area I want to do, and I hit enter. And each time I hit enter, I'm zooming in really close. And I can see pretty much that the red is staying over the green. Now let's go back a step for a second and say I just want to unzoom. The neatest thing about this is it's like a computer. I can hit Control Z as many times as I want and undo what I've just done. With that said, note that in the menu window, I can find Window. I could also do Window settings and manually set my own settings. The best thing to do with this calculator is just to play. But just so that you know, there's something else I can do. I can bring a table of values in. If I hit Control T for Control Table, I've now created a table of values for my two functions, and we can scroll down and compare individual values. One last thing before we go is if I'd like to add a new page, all I have to do is hit Control and Dock See above doc it says plus page, and now I could add another graph or a calculator page. These are the ones you're usually going to want to add this year. Have fun playing with your calculator.